Welcome to Winning with Annalee. I'm your host, Annalee, Leonard, president of Mainstay Financial Group, with offices here in Pensacola and also in Mobile, Alabama. Today we're going to talk about something really important and very, very special. Retirement planning for the small to medium-sized business. This has become a tremendous gap that we have seen over the years. What happens is nobody wants to work with the smaller businesses. And when I say small business, I'm talking from one up. We tend to, as small business owners, get so wound up in running the business, taking care of our employees, that we forget something very, very important. We forget to take care of our own future. So I've got with me today Dan Morris, my junior advisor. Dan is mostly over the Mobile office, but frequently here, so we're conversing constantly on the things that we're doing and changes in our company. And I think a good place to start, Dan, is how we had the revelation of the whole 401k program. We realized as a small business
that we needed it, yeah.
We needed it.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've got 6 employees.
Sure.
Put in our own 401k, and now all of you have that ability. Dan is young, the other 2 are 30s and they're 20s. They've got all these years they're going to be able to save money and give themselves some tax advantage. And we realized, my goodness, here we've been a financial advisor in this field and had ourselves not thought of taking care of ourselves.
Well, and the truth, Miss Annalee, it's really kind of cutting edge. I love working for you. I love going out and doing what I do. But the truth is, the bottom line, when I got the 401k, I'm like, oh my goodness, now I'm kind of complete.
Yeah.
Not that I would ever leave you, but the truth is that, wow, it's nice, but I never expected it. I'll be real honest with you. A smaller business, I don't expect that. I think there's certain perks in certain ways, and you have to be realistic.
Yes.
So to have this for me and my family has been awesome.
That's and thank you for saying those things, Dan. But again, we've found the importance of this. So what we want to do now is we want to go out and we want to share this with other small businesses. And you've got to look. There are different plans. People say, "Oh, I'm too small for a 401k." Well, maybe you could do a SEP IRA or a simple IRA or a simple 401k or a small business owner 401k or the traditional 401k or what we call the money purchase or the profit sharing or a defined benefit plan. Now, I'm sure you know about every one of those, don't you? No, you probably don't. Most people don't. So that's part of what we're doing now in our ongoing quest for education. Part of what we're starting to do is offering classes to people on what you can do.
Yes, ma'am, and the classes are just like our financial survival retirement classes. They're made to educate, to enlighten, and empower. Now, this is a young thing we're starting here.
Yes.
So chances are we're going to get feedback that makes that better and better better. And you've always been one that's been open-minded to making that until someone owns something. But also, when you were talking about those different type plans, companies change.
Yes.
So being educated is important. I talked to a gentleman over on the Eastern Shore, and he said, Dan, I may have 5 employees, but you know what? My goal is to have 50.
Exactly.
So he needed to continuously educate himself, and he was so excited about having an opportunity to have someone who believes in that education to help him grow, with that company.
With the company. And we've seen that. I mean, I tease people because they come to the office in Pensacola and, oh, it's so beautiful. And I got to say, it is. It's a beautiful facility. But when I started, long before I knew Dan, my office was the bucket seat of my car. So it wasn't an overnight type thing, and now we've got this beautiful facility. We've just opened another beautiful facility in Mobile with a small education center in it also. So you've got to be prepared and ready for that growth. So the first thing we want to do when we're meeting with people is to find out who they are and what they need. Now, part of that is we send out a little questionnaire. It's a small business retirement plan. It's what we call a suitability questionnaire. We want to know things like, of course, what's the name of your business? How long have you been around? How many employees do you have?
What are your goals?
Yeah, what are your goals? What are your goals? Where do you want to go? You know, and then start pulling together ideas that we can offer. Now, I think one of the biggest things that will separate this program from the majority of what is offered out there is because of our association with a registered investment advisor, we actually take the majority of the fiduciary responsibility. And we, in the program, have admin that take care to make sure that we're meeting all of the legal obligations and we're doing everything within the rules that have been set up by Uncle Sam.
Well, you know what happens is, and I've been out to talk to some small businesses, and they have a knee-jerk reaction because of the fact that they've had to deal with regulatory situations in other ways.
Yes.
So once you actually bridge the gap of education and explain to them, okay, this is not going to be one more thing, the fiduciary responsibility will fall back on someone else, as well as the education. They're like, wow, that's new, because normally I'm told that I'm completely responsible, and that absolutely scares me.
And that scares them. And one of the other things I've found too with most 401k programs, they're like almost any investment program that's out there. The money goes in and nobody talks to anybody, maybe a year later, and that's normally if you call them. We're going to do the same thing with this program that we do with our regular financial advisory program, in that we have set up representatives that call people regularly and talk to you about what's going on, what's happening, things that have developed, what we're recommending now, and why. And most people I've found, in fact, I talked to someone this morning, average size business that has a 401k, and one of the employees said that to me. She said, I don't know, every quarter I get something put in my mailbox and that's all I ever get. I don't know anything about what's happening.
There's not a lot of value is probably the word I would use. I'm out in the public a lot and doing a lot of expos and stuff, and I talk to people who have 401ks, and it is amazing the disconnect that they don't really understand what they're allocated in. They don't really, as a matter of fact, a lot of them dealt with 2008 and some of the market drop.
Sure.
And a lot of them are in things they shouldn't be in.
That they shouldn't
They
be
should
in.
be thinking in a different way. But the truth is, if they never have the education, then you really can't expect them to think that way.
Exactly. And one of the things we'd like to offer you, if you're a small business and you already have some type of retirement plan in place, allow us to do an x-ray of your plan. That will allow us to see what type of fees you're paying. Are you being offered funds that have a yield, that are paying dividends? If you're not, that's taking away a lot of the profit margin that can go right back to each and every employee, including the owner.
Sure.
And what kind of fees are you paying? That's important for you to know, because a lot of people have no idea of what's out there. So you want to understand those things. You want to understand who is eligible. You want to understand who is not eligible at a certain point. For instance, part-time workers, not eligible to participate. Seasonal workers, not eligible to participate. In our own company, we made the decision that you had to be with us 1 year before you could participate. And that across the board in the industry, most 401ks wait 2 years. But the good thing about these types of retirement plans is that the owner gets to make a lot of the decisions and mold this plan around what is good.
You say it all the time, one shoe doesn't fit all.
Exactly.
And that is exactly what people are out there unfortunately trying to do. They're trying to put a size 11 into a 7, and it's not working. And when they're uncomfortable, then, or where their employees are uncomfortable, then they got a bad taste in their mouth for what they tasted. And so really one shoe does not fit all. It does have to be molded to the personality of the business and also what the owner's goals are as well.
Yeah. So we're going to be doing, again, some educational aspects on this to help people understand what the different programs are, how they work differently, what this can mean for the owner. And I can tell you, as an owner of a corporation, a small corporation, this has done a tremendous amount for me. You know, I'm further along, closer to one day quitting, and of course they all tease me. They say I never will. I'll probably be 95 and still be in the office every day. But it's giving me that opportunity to put aside more dollars than I ever could before. You know, $6,500 a year in a regular IRA is not going to build your retirement. And employees have begun to realize that. Pension plans gone by the wayside, especially small businesses. We don't offer those. We can't. So this is an opportunity for you to give your employees something that gives them an incentive to stay with you.
And that's important. Since I've been working on the Eastern Shore and in Mobile, retention, other than fiduciary responsibility, is a big thing, because when you hire new employees and when you have to train new employees, you know, that becomes a challenge. So if they can retain someone, they love working there, but they want a little bit more of an incentive. So retention does play a big part.
Yeah, someone will see, you know, somebody will give them a raise for 10 cents an hour, and they'll go for that without thinking. But if the employer has established a plan for you, and like I made the decision with ours, you don't have to do this if you're a business owner, but I made the decision with ours to do profit sharing with our employees. So that to me makes sure that you and Megan and Casey and Joan all have an incentive to make the business more successful, because the more successful we are, the more I can turn around and share with you. So let us take a small break. We're going to come back and talk a little bit more about more protections for the owner.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Mainstay Financial Group offers advocacy and personal financial guidance in a caring environment. That's the heart of our practice. At Mainstay, we're dedicated to exemplary service and a caring relationship with our client, not with a number. Plan for the future now with Mainstay Financial Services.
When you're finished with your food or beverage cartons, toss it in the recycling bin. Because every carton is recyclable and can be turned into useful paper products. Put your carton in the bin with your other recyclables and let them start a new life. When the contents are gone, let the carton live on. Recycle your cartons.
Welcome back to Winning with Annalee. I'm your host, Annalee Leonard, President of Mainstay Financial Group here in Pensacola, Florida, and also our office in Mobile, Alabama. I'm glad to say today that I've got with me my junior advisor, Dan Morris. Dan and I have spent a lot of time and a lot of training over the last few months on this ability to be able to offer retirement plans to the small to medium-sized business. And you know, in our definition today in the world, small business, that's anything 500 and under. Those of us who are like myself really know what a small business is. But we would be glad to work with anyone of any size, but we really want to emphasize to the small business the importance of this program because, as we've said, they're neglected. They're totally neglected. The big guys out there don't want them. Don't see enough profit in them, don't want to bother. If they do get a smaller business with 20, 30 employees, it's, as we said earlier, they just are neglected. It's just you put your money in type thing and that's it. So what we did in this process, we instituted, first of all, the 401k for ourselves. That was our first initial education because I wanted to go through all the steps before I offered it to anybody else.
Sure.
It's just like I've never put anyone into an investment I'm not in because I want to make sure I know how it works. So then we went through a couple of months ago, we had Denise Appleby come in and give a full day training to all of our staff. And Denise is a nationally recognized professional and speaker, specialist in retirement planning for businesses. So we wanted to make sure we got this from all the different sides. So now we've got the Ed Slott Group to back us up. On the IRA side, we now have Denise Appleby to back us up on the other side, because you know, when you're an individual out there, there's no way you can possibly know everything and remember everything. So if you back yourself up with the right people, your chances of doing something incorrectly become smaller and smaller, and that's what we're trying to do.
Well, that, and I've also seen, I mean, even going through the training, that just like the Ed Slott class, all this stuff changes.
Oh, yes.
And it can change on a dime, and you may miss it if you're the only one plugged into it, or you're trying to deal with your other things that you got to deal with. So having Denise and having Ed Slott, that really is a customer service benefit, because I get plugged in, you get plugged in, connected as quick as possible, so we can get the information out if something does change. And without a doubt, these animals can change on a daily basis.
I mean, when you just look across, I mean, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different types of retirement plans that as a small business you could institute. Now, guess what? The rules are different for each one of them, which is really, really crazy. Let's just go through a small difference, like a 401k. If you have a 401k and you hit that magic age of the 70 and a half, if you're still working, you don't have to take a required minimum distribution.
Correct.
Now, on the other hand, if you have a SEP and you're still working, you must take a distribution. Now, you can still contribute, but you must take a distribution.
Right.
It's a little bit crazy on there. The amounts of money you can put in are different. This is where it also becomes extremely important for the business owner, because you're allowed to do some catch up if you're like I am and you've been in the industry a long time, you're older, you've got some profit sharing going on. You can really start setting aside amounts for yourself that you really never thought was possible. Now, this is the thing I love the most about this, and before I say this, I got to preface this with this statement, because Dan laughs at me every time I say this, but it helps so much with the tax situation. You know, I mean, I pay a lot of taxes. I'm grateful I can pay them. I support my country. I believe in that. But I don't want to pay more than I have to. Do you?
No, not at all.
No. You know, we don't want to pay more than we have to. So what each individual is doing and what the business owner is doing is that money you would be giving in taxes, you're now keeping in your business and for your employees. Right. Now, I don't know about you as a business owner, but I would much rather have my employees profit than to put the money somewhere and I don't even know how it's going to be used or what it's going to be used for. So this to me is a great thing. And you know, you've been doing this, Dan, now for several months. Have you yet missed the money that you're putting into that 401k?
No, you don't miss it because it's kind of out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
It kind of works into the budget, and every little bit counts.
Sure.
We have 3 children at home, so obviously we've got to pull back a little bit,
Yeah.
and then as those 3 children start to get to where they need to be and flying, we can add a little bit more. But the thing that I really love about this, there's a saying that you can't feel my pain till you feel my pain.
Yeah.
I really can't feel your pain because I've never owned a business. I've never been a business owner.
Yeah.
That's what's so nice about all this is I can actually now see other business owners and talk to them about, no, we have a business owner that felt your pain.
Yes.
Okay, so what we're going to try to do is help you with the same pain that she felt.
Yeah.
And that to me is really what emotionally connects everything with our 401k program.
I just think we have something here, and when you want to talk about the taxes and protection, I don't know if everybody realizes it, but I mean, your 401k, especially for the owner, if you're putting large sums of money into this, that's a protection for you from creditors, from lawsuit, because things sometimes do happen. So it's good to know that there's something that's out there that you can help yourself and your employees, your family, that it just hasn't been offered. Now, in conjunction with this program, what we're also doing is partnering with very good attorneys to come in and talk about succession planning.
And that is a big part of really the puzzle, because the more and more I'm out there, I hear people say succession planning. No one's ever talked to me about that. How do I exit properly? How do I handle legacy? How do I think about all that? And the research, if you'll do it, it's not the same for an individual as it is for a business owner.
No.
It's totally different. So going to a class that gives you that opportunity to understand more and get connected, that's huge for business owners.
And I've seen small business owners, Dan, make huge mistakes. Had a family I dealt with in Mobile several years ago, successful business, and the son had worked with him. The 2 daughters had not. So it was kind of across the board, well, the business is going to go to the son. Well, you just destroyed your family. I don't care if he's worked in it. You have to have some type of succession planning legally,
Right.
because if you don't, there's going to be bickering, there's going to be fighting, there's going to be back and forth. And what does that do? That destroys the family, it destroys the business. So succession planning, especially for small businesses, huge corporate businesses, where you're a president of a corporation, you don't worry about it.
Right.
Because you walk out the door, the next president walks in.
Right.
But when this is your blood, sweat, and tears that you've pulled together, you want to make sure whenever you leave that that legacy will continue.
Right.
So I think it's all part of pulling together again that educational aspect that says, all right, here we're going to help you now to put some money aside, but we're also going to help you decide what's going to happen in your business when you either stop or you're gone.
And being an entrepreneur is about taking chances.
Oh, definitely.
And I was talking to a gentleman the other day, when he knows more about his money, when he knows more about his legacy, he can empower himself enough to take calculated chances, not risky chances. Because as an entrepreneur, if you're not taking chances, as far as I've seen, you're not growing.
You're not growing.
You have to take some chances. But the more empowered you are with your money, the better mindset you have in order to make those chances.
Yeah, and the more educated. I mean, and you've seen me do it more than once. It take a chance.
Right.
But they're educated chances that I've researched, and I have laid the plan out. If this happens, this is how much I could lose. If it doesn't work, can I afford that? If it does work, this is how much it's going to advance the business. So you've got to understand those things. And something like this, very truthfully, and again, I can say this, Dan, as a business owner, I'm a financial advisor. I understand the majority of what we are doing here with these different plans. I still have to go back and research the minutia of them. But I don't have the time on a daily basis to be keeping up with this because I'm taking care of my clients.
Correct.
So we have structured this so that our clients will have the same advantage that we have. They're going to get the attention, they're going to get the fiduciary responsibilities taken off them, given to us. They're going to get the communication by the second part of our team with the registered investment advisor, who communicates, come out, does training, talks about changes that are going on. So you don't just get us, you get the whole team of our registered investment advisory team.
Correct.
So it's a good thing. And don't we have one of these scheduled in the Mobile area?
We do. In the Mobile office at our government location that we're actually having an open house for here.
Yes.
Our classes will be September 22nd and September 13th, and that's from 6 to 8, and that is no charge to the business owner.
No charge to the business owner. So you put in a couple of hours. You get to come out and help yourself, help your employees. I don't know what could be a better way to spend your time. If you want to pursue this, you want to look at the possibilities, call us, 850-437-3127. We'll be glad to help you however we possibly can. Between all of us, we cover a large amount of area. Dan and I work on everything as a team. Give us a call. We'll see if we can help make your business stronger and help make your succession planning a definite, not a what if. I think that's very important. We will see you next month. Give us a call. We'll do whatever we can to be of assistance. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you for having me.
Okay.
Mainstay Financial Group offers advocacy and personal financial guidance in a caring environment. That's the heart of our practice. At Mainstay, we're dedicated to exemplary service and a caring relationship with our client, not with a number. Plan for the future now with Mainstay Financial Services.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.